went dead silent. The air got thick, and within seconds, young Jock stood up, threw his mic off, and stormed out, live, with no warning. But what could possibly make Jock, the jokester, the one who always keeps it cool, snap in front of a live audience? According to whispers swirling across social media and behind-the-scenes leaks, Kendra may have claimed that Kirk Frost, yes, Rashida's husband, might be the real father of her baby. Wait, what? While no official confirmation has come from either side, and neither Kirk nor Rashida has issued a public statement, the internet is ablaze with speculation. Fans are dissecting every clip, every reaction, and every moment leading up to the alleged reveal. Did she say it out of anger? Was it a slip-up? Or is there way more to this tangled web than we've been shown? The drama didn't end there. It only got worse. And now, everyone wants to know, what's the real story behind Kendra, Kirk, and this DNA bombshell? Under the dimmed lights of the reunion stage, tension clung to the air like static. The atmosphere felt heavier than usual, the kind that hinted something was about to erupt. Cast members shifted in their seats, eyes darting, anticipating drama, but not prepared for the emotional nuke Kendra was about to drop. When the host asked her if there was anything she wanted to clear up before the reunion wrapped, she didn't blink. Instead, she adjusted her mic, cleared her throat, and said words that made time freeze. "I just feel like, before we all go back to pretending everything's perfect, people deserve to know the truth, especially about who my baby's father really might be." At first, the room was silent, the kind of silence that only exists when something sacred is being broken. Then gasps rippled through the audience. The cast sat frozen. Jock turned his whole body toward her, eyebrows furrowed, his lips slightly parted. "What the hell you mean by that?" he asked slowly, trying to stay calm, trying not to make a scene before understanding what she was implying. Kendra didn't flinch. Her hands were shaking, but her voice held steady. "I mean exactly what I said. For a long time, I believed you were the father. And maybe part of me still wants to believe that. But recently, I started questioning everything. Timelines. Decisions. That one night with Kirk." Kirk's face lost color instantly. Rashida went pale and stiff beside him, blinking in disbelief. "Excuse me?" she muttered. The host leaned in, struggling to contain the eruption forming before them. "Are you saying what we think you're saying?" Kendra nodded. "There was one night before me and Jock were officially solid. It was stupid, and I regret it deeply. But it happened, and Kirk was part of that night." Jock stood up now. He wasn't pacing yet, but his hands were clenching and unclenching like he was trying to stop himself from exploding. "You telling me I might not be that baby's father?" His voice cracked, not with rage, but confusion, betrayal. Kendra nodded again, slower this time. "I had a DNA test done. The results came back. Unclear. Inconclusive. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know how." The audience was in shock. Fans watching live had already started recording and posting clips online. Phones in the audience were out, capturing reactions as they happened. The production crew backstage scrambled to adjust mics, lighting, and prepare security, just in case things spiraled. Rashida turned to Kirk, her face unreadable. "Please tell me she's lying. Tell me this is another attention stunt." Kirk was frozen for a second. I don't remember that night like that. I remember we were all hanging out after the event, but nothing happened. Nothing serious. I didn't sleep with her. I wouldn't." "You wouldn't?" Kendra's tone was sharp. "You sure?" "Because you were drunk." "I was, too. I've carried this secret alone all this time, hoping it'd stay buried. But then I started seeing things in my child. More features, timelines, and it broke me." Jock began pacing now, hands on his head. "So you mean to tell me you've been lying to me this whole time? smiling in my face, raising a child that might not even be mine, while Kirk's sitting there like he's everybody's uncle? Kirk looked at Jock, trying to reach him. Bro, I swear I didn't know. If anything happened, it wasn't what she's saying. It wasn't intentional. I thought it was just a moment. Rashida stood up abruptly. A moment? You're calling a betrayal a moment? She stepped away from Kirk, her heels clicking sharply against the stage. I stood by you through every lie, every side chick, every late-night text. And now you telling me there might be a baby with someone else? Someone we call family? Kendra wiped a tear from her cheek. I never wanted this to come out like this. I just couldn't keep lying. I see that little boy growing up, and every day I wonder if I made the right choice by staying silent. Jock's voice turned cold. Nah, you made your choice. You let me name that baby. You let me raise him. And now you got the nerve to sit up here and play victim? I wasn't playing anything, she snapped. I was surviving. And I knew you'd never forgive me if I told you the truth from the start. So I lied, because I loved you, and because I didn't know what else to do. The host raised a hand to calm the chaos. Okay, let's take a breath. Kendra, do you have the results with you? Kendra nodded and reached into her bag, pulling out a folded envelope. I didn't plan to show this, but since the truth's already out. She handed the envelope to the host, who opened it slowly, reading it to himself first before looking up. This says the test was inconclusive with Jock, and that additional testing is recommended. It doesn't name a second potential father. Kirk buried his face in his hands. God, what if it's true? Rashida stood at the edge of the set now, arms crossed tightly. I swear, Kirk, if I find out you touched her, if I even get a hint that this is real. She didn't finish the sentence. Her voice cracked and she walked off set. Jock followed right after, tossing his mic down. Y'all fake. All of y'all. Producers, too. Y'all knew this was gonna happen and didn't say nothing. Backstage, producers rushed to calm both of them. Meanwhile, the host turned back to Kendra. Why now? Why here? Kendra looked broken. Because I'm tired of pretending. Tired of looking in the mirror and seeing a liar. I needed to free myself from it, no matter the cost. One of the cast members whispered, "This is gonna destroy everything." Another chimed in, "This reunion just turned into a war zone." The cameras kept rolling, the tension still thick. Kirk sat alone on the couch, unable to speak, staring into space as if he were trying to rewind time in his head. The stage lights dimmed slightly as producers took a break, but the damage had already been done, and for everyone involved, this wasn't just reunion drama anymore. It was personal. And the worst part? This was only the beginning. Because once DNA questions enter the mix, nothing stays hidden for long. This was the moment that broke the trust, shattered alliances, and opened the floodgates for a scandal no one saw coming. And as fans scrambled to rewatch every clip, dissect every reaction, and speculate every detail, one thing became clear. The truth was about to get a whole lot messier. The aftermath of Kendra's confession rippled through every corner of the reunion set, but as soon as the cameras cut, the real drama shifted backstage. Kirk sat slumped in a makeup chair, his face a mask of confusion and regret. Rashida paced in a tight circle, phone pressed to her ear, her voice low but seething. Joke had disappeared into a private room, banging his fists against the wall before crumpling onto a foldable chair. Meanwhile, crew members whispered to producers, desperately trying to figure out if this was going to be the end of the season or just the beginning of something far more chaotic. I can't believe she did this, Kirk mumbled, staring at his reflection. I loved Jock like a brother. I never meant for this to happen. His voice cracked, and he leaned forward, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. The makeup artist tried to soothe him. You okay, Kirk? Kirk shook his head. No, I'm not okay. If true, I'm a scumbag, and if false, she's playing us all. Rashida's call disconnected, and she slammed her phone onto a nearby table. That bitch, she hissed. How dare she throw me under the bus like that? Doesn't matter if it's true or not. She ruined everything. She punched a nearby wall lightly, her knuckles reddening. And Kirk, you better have an explanation. I swear, if you lied to me, I'll burn this world down. Kendra, escorted by security, was led to a small room adjacent to the stage. Her eyes were red, but she steadied herself, refusing to cry again. A producer handed her a water bottle. You need anything? She took a slow breath. I need answers, and I need to know if that test can be rerun. Because all I want is the truth, even if it kills me. The private room door swung open and Jock stormed in, his face twisted. So you really think Kirk's my replacement? He spat. Kendra flinched at his harsher tone than she expected. Jock, calm down. Calm down? You sat there and told me my son might be a stranger's. You used my face, my name, to hide this from me. Jock pointed an accusing finger. And you call that love? You destroyed me. He stalked out before Kendra could respond, leaving her trembling. Back on the main stage, the host addressed the remaining cast. We need to take a quick break. Please, everyone, calm down. Producers scurried to clear the room, arranging seating for minimal footage. Fans in the audience muttered to each other, their phones still rolling to capture every reaction. Outside, in the VIP lounge, Yandy and Mendices watched live feeds on multiple screens. Mendices rubbed his forehead. Yandy? What the hell is going on? I thought Kendra and Jock were solid. Yandy shook her head, nausea in her voice. I thought so too. Now look, Kendra's accusing Kirk, Rashida's furious, Jock's heartbroken, and the rest of the cast is freaking out. She grabbed her phone and tapped rapidly. Social media's going insane. Charge Kendra, Kirk, #Jock, #DNA all over Twitter. Meanwhile, Kirk's sister Adrienne arrived on set, escorted by security. She rushed to her brother, squeezing his shoulder. Kirk, talk to me. Is any of this real? He looked at her with doe eyes. I don't know. She says one night, before Jock and I were brothers. I remember them both laughing, but I can't recall it leading to anything else. Adrienne frowned, frustration crossing her face. You better find out, or Rashida's gonna rip you to shreds. Kirk closed his eyes. I plan to. I just need to figure out how. A camera crew followed Rashida as she stormed out to the parking lot. Paparazzi waited, snapping photos as she got into a black SUV. She glared at them, then yelled, Stay away from me! As the doors shut. Inside, tears gathered, but anger was stronger. She dialed a number. Hey, it's me. I need to know if this DNA claim has any truth to it. Do you know anyone who can run a test on Kirk? Now. In another corner of the building, Jock went live on Instagram from a small dressing room. His face was a mixture of pain and rage. So y'all want the tea? Let me spill. Kendra, who I loved like my own sister, just told me my boy might not be mine because she and my brother Kirk had some drunk hookup, and everybody's sitting here nice and comfy like it ain't no big deal. Jock paused, voice catching. I'm embarrassed. I'm hurt. And you know what? I'm pissed. How do I know you're not lying for clicks, Kendra? How do I know you're not just jealous? He slammed his phone down, ending the live. Social media reacted instantly. Fans flooded the comment sections. Tell the truth, Kendra. Kirk, better apologize. Jock, you deserve better. Rashida girl, go off. Some accused Kendra of making up a story for screen time. Others demanded proof. The rumor mill was spinning faster than ever. Backstage, the cast gathered in a tense huddle. Rashida emerged from her SUV, storming over. Kirk, did you sleep with Kendra? she yelled, grabbing his shirt. Kirk shook his head, recoiling. No, Rashida. I swear to God, no. Kendra, watching from down the hallway, cleared her throat. It's not about what you remember, Kirk. It's about the kid's face, the dates lining up. I didn't do this for attention. Rashida turned to Kendra, fury in her eyes. You ruined my life, my family. You told me all these lies for years. She slapped Kendra across the face, the sound echoing loudly in the empty corridor. Kendra stumbled but remained standing. I did what I had to do. Security pulled Rashida away. Kirk grabbed Kendra's arm. Let's just go back inside and sort this out. Public or not, you owe us the truth. Kendra inhaled deeply, her lip bleeding. Fine, but you better be ready for what you'll find. A producer watched the fight mouth agape. Guys, you know we're still on the clock, right? We gotta finish or they'll yank the episode. The cast dispersed, returning to their seats as the host prepared for round 2. When the cameras resumed, everyone looked different. Haunted, angry, uncertain. The host tried to salvage the moment. Thank you all for being patient. Let's address what happened. Kendra, do you have more to add? She nodded and took a breath. I'm not done yet. I want to tell you all what really happened that night with Kirk. Silence returned. She leaned forward. We were at a photo shoot after party. Jock had left early to handle family stuff. Kirk convinced me to stay, said he'd drive me home. Wine was flowing. I was vulnerable. Before I knew it, I was in his arms. One thing led to another. He promised he'd take care of me. I thought it meant okay, because everyone was partying. I didn't think too hard. She paused, blinking back fresh tears. I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks later. I wanted to tell Joke so bad, but Kirk begged me to wait until after the wedding. Said it'd ruin him. He promised he'd figure it out. So I lied to Jock, said test results were inaccurate, and we moved forward. We had our son. I kept waiting for Kirk to step up, but he never did. I felt trapped. There were murmurs in the audience. Jock stood, fists clenched. So you decided it was better to trap me in a lie than to be honest? His voice was low and dangerous. Kendra's shoulders shook. I didn't think I had a choice. Jock shook his head and stormed. Off again. The host reminded her gently, Kendra, please stay and answer questions for clarity. She nodded. Downstairs in the green room, Kirk sat alone, phone in hand. He dialed a private investigator he had used before to check rumors. This is Kirk Frost. I need records. Anything from 2018 that links me to Kendra LV and help me trace. That prenatal test she mentioned. I can't let this ruin me if it's false. The investigator's voice crackled. I'll have someone on it. We'll dig up hospital logs, DNA lab visits, whatever you need. Kendra, still on stage, took over again. I know you all think this is fabricated, that I'm just chasing drama. But ask for the paperwork. It's all legit. If you want to believe me or not, that's on you. But this is reality. She wiped more tears. And if I'm wrong, if my test is messed up or a lab error, I'll apologize on my knees. But I need the truth above all. The host nodded. Kendra, thank you. We'll get to the bottom of this. But right now, let's take a look at how fans are reacting. On cue, a screen lit up behind them showing live tweets, Instagram posts, and Facebook comments. Kendrasna trended, showing hashtags like DNA Dramedy, Frost Family Drama, and Jock vs Frost. Some tweets read, Man, this is juicy. Can't wait to see how this ends. Kendra better be telling the truth or she's toast, and Rashida deserves better, OMG. Rashida watched the screen from below stage level, arms crossed. She whispered under her breath, I'll make her pay if this is a lie. Kirk, backstage, stared at his phone, biting his lip. His private investigator had already sent preliminary texts. I found a hospital visit by Kendra around that time. No father name was listed, but that's not conclusive. Waiting on lab records. Young Jock returned to the set, face pale. I may have screwed up, he told Rashida quietly. But Kendra, you need to stop this witch hunt if it's not real. Rashida shook her head. Jock, there's nothing he can say that can justify sleeping with my friend, and then lying. To my face for years. Jock's eyes softened. I just don't want more people hurt. She glared. Too late for that. As the reunion wrapped, security ushered the cast off stage. Producers whispered urgently about how to edit the explosive footage. Social. Media buzzed with clips of Kendra's accusations, Jock's outbursts, and Rashida's slap. The controversy was far from over. Fans speculated non-stop about what the real results might reveal. Later that night, Kirk and Rashida arrived home to their mansion. Inside, the silent house felt suffocating. They stared at each other, neither knowing how to begin. Kirk sat on the edge of their bed, looking up at Rashida. I swear, I never meant to lie. I didn't see it coming. Rashida paced, then stopped in front of him. You can't just say that, Kirk. You never even told me you hooked up with her. You hid it. You let me raise a family on a lie. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Don't touch me. Kirk closed his eyes and leaned back. What do you want me to do? I'm getting a new DNA test. I'm gonna figure this out. Rashida crossed her arms. You better, because if that baby is yours, I don't know what I'll do. Leave? Stay and hate you? I don't know. She turned away, shoulders trembling. Kirk whispered, I'm sorry. In a separate corner of Atlanta, Jock sat in his car, parked under dim streetlights. He scrolled through social media, shaking his head. Everyone's taking sides. Some think Kendra's a liar, some think she's the victim. Me? I just want my son's face to match mine. He rubbed his eyes, exhaustion settling in. He opened his messages and saw a text from his sister. You okay? Saw the clips. Call me if you need to talk. He exhaled. I need answers. Kendra, meanwhile, met quietly with a lab technician at an off-site clinic late that night. She handed over her original test paperwork and begged for retesting. I need definitive results, no inconclusive. If it's Jock, I'll live with that. If it's Kirk, you don't know what's at stake. The technician nodded. We'll run a full paternity panel. Results in 7 days. As Kendra left the lab, she paused, staring at the lit-up sign. Atlanta DNA Services. Her reflection looked ghostly under the neon glow. She whispered to herself, whatever happens, I'll face it. Then she disappeared into the night. By dawn, news outlets had already picked up on the reunion fiasco. Entertainment blogs ran headlines like, Frost Mess, Kendra's shocking paternity reveal, Jock versus Kirk versus Rashida, reality show Warzone, and DNA Dramedy takes over Atlanta. Fans tweeted theories about secret recordings, planted evidence, and potential motives for Kendra to lie. The next morning, Kirk woke to a barrage of missed calls from the investigator and tabloids requesting interviews. He slumped in bed, phone buzzing nonstop. Rashida, upstairs, posted an Instagram story that read, Truth hurts. Don't play with fire. Some fans took it as confirmation Kirk was guilty. Others thought it was defensive, trying to rile up public sympathy. In the Fenton household, Kendra's apartment, her roommates watched the replays of reunion clips on loop. One roommate said, Girl, you did what you had to do. You gotta know the truth before you sleep at night. Another added, But what if Kirk sues you? What if this was all a setup? Kendra rubbed her temples, exhaustion etched on her face. I don't care. I can't keep living a lie. The entire Love and Hip Hop family felt the tremors. Throughout the day, each cast member faced interviews with reporters calling about the scandal. Mendices texted Yandy. We need to talk. This is spiraling. Yandy responded, I know. Be home in an hour. Let's figure this out together. They sat down that evening in their living room, hands entwined. I hate seeing you like this, she said softly. I hate knowing our friends are at war. He looked at her, anguish written in his eyes. I would do anything to make this stop. But the truth would not be stopped. As night fell again, Kirk received an encrypted email from the investigator. We found a hospital record from April 2018, a prenatal blood draw with your name on it. It's preliminary proof. More on the way. Kirk's breath caught. His phone slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor as the realization hit him. Kendra had not lied. The paternity test was solid. His life was about to collapse. And, with that twist, part 2 ended. Flames of betrayal fueled brighter. Hearts braced for further heartbreak. And one question hung in the air. What would the final DNA results reveal? And who would be left standing when the dust settled? Kendra barely slept that night, her mind racing through every detail of what she'd revealed. Dawn broke over Atlanta as she paced her living room, scrolling through headlines. Frost family implodes. Kendra's paternity bombshell, truth or stunt. She felt sick to her stomach. The phone rang, her private investigator. She answered immediately, voice trembling. We got the lab report, he said. It confirms Kirk's DNA matches. 99% probability. Kendra closed her eyes and exhaled. So it's real, she whispered. Yes, he replied gently. But you did what you had to do for yourself and that child. She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. I just hope people understand why I had to do it. He paused. Now we deal with the fallout. Meanwhile, Kirk sat in his garage, head in his hands, replaying every moment. Rashida's voice echoed in his ears. You lied to me. How could you do this? He glanced at his phone. Dozens of missed calls and messages. Rashida pleading, Jock demanding answers, producers trying to schedule interviews. He slammed the phone against the wall once, then picked it up again. He texted Rashida, Meet me at home in 30 minutes, please. She didn't respond. He wiped sweat from his brow, tears welling up. He whispered to himself, How did it come to this? On the reunion set, now weeks later, the atmosphere was heavy. Cameras rolled as the host reintroduced the cast for a follow-up special. We promised to get to the bottom of the paternity mystery. Tonight, Kendra, Kirk, Rashida, and Jock returned to discuss what happened since that explosive reunion. The audience cheered, though uneasily. The host continued. First, we want to show you exclusive footage from the lab where Kendra's new test was run. The screen displayed grainy footage of a lab technician placing a vial on a scale, scanning barcodes and inputting numbers into a computer. The lab tech declared, Paternity test confirmed. Kirk Frost is the biological father. The audience gasped. Some applauded. Others looked stunned. Rashida covered her mouth with her hand. Kirk's face drained of color. The host turned to Kendra. How do you feel now that this is confirmed? Kendra took a deep breath. Relieved and terrified. Relieved because the truth is finally out. Terrified because I know our families will never be the same. Jock nodded slowly, staring at Kendra. I appreciate your honesty, Kendra, but it hurts like hell. Tears welled in his eyes. I raised my little boy for years thinking he was mine. Now I don't know who I am. Rashida rose to her feet, wiping her eyes. Kendra, why didn't you tell me sooner? We could have worked through this together. Her voice wavered. Kendra's gaze dropped. I was scared you'd hate me. I was scared of losing everything. My friend, my family. Rashida's shoulders slumped. You lost it anyway. She wrapped her arms around herself, silence filling the set. The host turned to Kirk. Kirk, what do you say to all of... This? Kirk stood slowly, looking at Rashida with remorse. I'm sorry, Rashida. I never meant for this to happen. I should have been upfront, told the truth, but I was ashamed. Ashamed of myself. Rashida shook her head sharply. Ashamed? You ruined my life, Kirk continued, voice cracking. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn back what I lost. He glanced at Kendra. Kendra, I never asked you to get pregnant. I never forced anything. I thought it was just a drunk night. I was wrong. You deserve the truth. Kendra's tears fell freely. I forgive you, Kirk, but I don't know if I'll ever trust you again. The host nodded. This is raw, real, and painful. But now, how do we move forward? Josie stood up. I don't know if I can ever forgive either of you. Maybe I'll just leave Atlanta, find a fresh start. My son needs stability, not all this chaos. He paused, looking at his son's photo on a small table beside him. I'll have to figure it out. Rashida swallowed hard. Jock, if you leave, you're hurting our son too. You might hate Kirk, hate me, but that child still has a father and a mother under one roof. Jock shook his head. I can't pretend. Not after this. He walked off stage, his mic cutting out as he disappeared. The host glanced at Kendra and Kirk. With Jock stepping away, what about co-parenting? Can you and Kirk do that? Kirk nodded, stepping forward. I'll do whatever it takes. I love that baby more than anything. I'll move out, figure out a custody arrangement. I'll be there for him. Rashida's eyes softened. She took Kirk's hand. We'll get through this, but it'll take time. She turned to Kendra. Kendra, if you ever need anything, I was wrong to hit you. I'm sorry. Kendra accepted the apology with a nod. The cameras cut to a brief montage. Jock moving into a small apartment, hugging his son. Kirk and Rashida in family therapy sessions. Kendra dropping her son off at school, waving goodbye. And Rashida supporting Kendra at a prenatal follow-up. Each scene was accompanied by a slow, emotional score, signifying tentative healing but lingering pain. Then the host returned to set. Tonight's episode ends with families broken and maybe healing. But before we go, here's what fans are saying online. Live tweets scrolled. Kendra showed true courage. Jock deserves applause for staying strong. Poor Rashida, she's been through hell. Kirk needs to own this. Will they ever be a family again? The host nodded. These questions remain. Can Kendra and Kirk co-parent peacefully? Will Jock forgive them? And what does the future hold for all of them? Part 3 ended with the cast hugging awkwardly on stage, emotions heavy. The host thanked the audience, reminding viewers to tune in next week for updates on the ongoing fallout. Days later, the aftermath continued. Kirk moved into a small apartment close to their son's school. He juggled work, therapy, and weekend visits. Rashida stayed in their family home, juggling single motherhood and emotional recovery. She posted on Instagram, "Every day is a choice, to hate or to heal. Today, I choose healing." Fans flooded comments with support and advice. Kendra, meanwhile, started co-parenting classes. She and Kirk met at a neutral location, an empty playground, to exchange their son. The first meeting was tense. Kirk approached with caution, carrying toys. "Hi," he said quietly. Kendra nodded, offering a forced smile. "Here's his bag. Snacks, clothes, maybe you want these." Kirk scanned the bag, then looked at their son. "Hey, champ," he said softly. The boy ran forward, hugging Kirk, then looked at Kendra with innocent eyes. "Bye, Mommy," he said. Kendra hugged him. "Be good for Daddy. I love you." Kirk's eyes filled with tears. "Love you, bud." Kendra walked away quickly, tears stinging her eyes as she watched from a distance. Over the next weeks, tabloids printed stories of Kirk's redemption arc, Jock's new single titled Broken Home, and Rashida launching a charity for single mothers. Kendra started therapy vlogs on YouTube, sharing her journey of healing and forgiveness. One vlog titled Co-Parenting 101, My Truth and Lessons Learned, racked up millions of views and supportive comments. During all this, Jock released his single. In the music video, he sang about betrayal and heartbreak, scenes of empty chairs at dinner tables, and a father's regret. The chorus went, "I thought we had forever, but forever turned to dust. Now I'm walking solo, carrying love and lust." Fans praised the raw lyrics. "Jock's lyrics cut deep," read one comment. "This is what heartbreak sounds like," read another. Jock posted on IG, "This is my story, my heart, hoping it helps anyone feeling lost." Thousands commented with their own stories of betrayal. Kendra kept fighting for her son's best interest. She and Kirk attended mediation. The mediator said, "You both want what's best for him. Joint custody with set visitation seems fair." Kirk and Kendra exchanged weary nods. "I'll take Mondays, Wednesdays, weekends," Kirk said. Kendra agreed. "I'll get him Tuesdays, Thursdays, and overnight visits." They both sighed at the form they signed. It felt bittersweet. An official end to one chapter, the beginning of another. Rashida, still struggling, took a step forward. She contacted a counselor to help her process anger and betrayal. In an Instagram live, she tearfully said, "I know I have to forgive to move on, but that doesn't mean I forget." Viewers flooded the live with